Hi there, this is Solitary Ronan from Solitary Ronan Films, and welcome to another episode of Turkey Love. Today's Turkey that we'll be talking about is Jim Wynorski's Not of This Earth, starring Traci Lords, from 1988. This is a film that I saw on VHS back in probably 88, 89, and I've never seen it since. Even though when I watched it, it felt like I watched it last week. Obviously, Traci Lords is probably more famous for her career in another kind of film industry. But when she turned 18, she actually went to Lee Strasberg's acting school. And this is her mainstream debut at age 19. It's a remake of Roger Corman's 1957 film of the same title. I mean, Traci Lords has had obviously a pretty interesting life and career. I think she wrote her autobiography when she was like 32. She's also done music. A couple of her songs were used in soundtracks for Pet Sematary 2 and Mortal Kombat. She gives a wonderful performance in Blade. You could make the argument that she would have made a better villain than Stephen Dorff in Blade. So I just don't think we talk about Traci Lords enough on this channel. We certainly don't talk about Jim Wynorski at all. I'm just going to read out a lot of Jim Wynorski directed films. So we have Chopping Mall, The Return of the Swamp Thing. He does seem to do quite a lot of sequels. Deathstalker 2, Munchie, Sorority House Massacre Part 2, 976 Evil Part 2, The Lost Empire, Hard to Die, Sharkensaw Women's Prison, Piranaconda, Ghoulies 4, Vampirella, Dinosaur Island, Sorceress, Cheerleader Massacre, Raptor, Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl, Dino Croc vs Supergator, a sci-fi classic, Scream Queen Hot Tub Party, Transylvania, is that Twins? Demolition High, Munchie Strikes Back, Wasp Woman, Komodo vs Cobra, Camel Spiders, Big Bad Mama Part 2, Curse of the Komodo, Sins of Desire, Gargoyle, Poison, Bone Eater, The Thing Below, Bigfoot or Bust, The Witches of Brestwick, Wolfhound, A Dog on Christmas, nice family film there, Giantess, Nessie and Me, Shark Babes, Gila, Agent Red with Dolph Lundgren, House on Hooter Hill, Body Chemistry 3, Murderbot, Vampire in Vegas, Hard Bounty with Kelly LeBrock, Virtual Desire with Julie Strain, Body Chemistry 4, Scared Topless, Book of Babes, Bear Wench 2, The Hills Have Thighs, Busty Cops, Final Voyage with Ice-T, Home for Christmas, another family film with Jennifer Love Hewitt, Bear Wench 3, Bear Wench 4, Bad Business, The Devil Wears Nada, Crash Landing, Cleavage Field, which I believe must be a version of Cloverfield, Project Viper, Stormtrooper, Stealth Fighter, Alabama Jones, The Bear Wench Part 5, which claims to be the final chapter, Shockwave, Ablaze, The Witches of Brestwick 2, so he did both films in that series, Fire from Below with Kevin Sorbo, The Brestford Wives, Cobra Gator, Sexipede, The Da Vinci Co-Ed, Militia with Dean Cain, Escort 3, Extreme Limits with Treat Williams, Against the Law, Busty Cops 2, of course, A Doggone Hollywood, The Assault, Sub-Zero, Gale Force with Treat Williams again, Busty Co-Eds versus Lusty Cheerleaders, Lost Treasure, Pleasure Spa, Cry of the Winged Serpent, Busty Cops, another one, Legend of the Naked Ghost, of course the ghost would be naked, Treasure Hunt, Lusty Busty Babacue as opposed to barbecue, The Pandora Project with a Baldwin brother, Hypnotica, Rangers, Desert Thunder, Lost in the Woods, Monster Cruise, and Invasion of the Hottie Snatchers. That's just some of Jim Wynorski's films. But back to Not of This Earth, and back to Turkey Love. I do have a soft spot for this film. As I said, I haven't seen it for about 35 years, but as soon as I watched it, it was as if I watched it last week. The story is about an alien who comes to Earth needing blood because his planet is suffering through nuclear war, and the radioactivity caused by constant nuclear war is causing their blood to turn to dust and they're dying off. So he comes to Earth, kills a couple of people who are obviously having sex as the rules prescribe, and he goes into a doctor to get transfusions of blood, and the doctor is obviously a bit freaked out by what he finds, so he sends his nurse, played by Traci Lords, to live with the patient and give him 2 transfusions a day. But obviously the patient is getting his blood through other means, i.e. killing lots of busty beauties, picking up hookers 3 at a time, and vacuum cleaner salesmen, and happy birthday stripograms who come to the wrong address. Meanwhile, Traci Lords grows a bit more suspicious, and with the help of the chauffeur handyman, who's a bit of a scumbag, but then ends up coming round and helping Traci Lords. Traci Lords has a boyfriend who's in the police, well, it's a motorcycle cop, who helps out as well. The budget isn't actually that low, even though it's a straight to video title. The effects are the wonderful 80s hand drawn electricity. And at 81 minutes, it doesn't really outstay its welcome. Lords gives a wonderful performance. She does walk about in a blue bikini quite a lot, in also a nurse's uniform, and there is one partially nude scene when she's obviously coming out of the shower or bath, and we need to see her toweling off, of course. And it provides humour as the handyman is looking at her through a reflection in a mirror, and not being creepy in any way, shape or form. But again, Lords, for her first mainstream performance, gives this role gusto. She does her own stunts. I mean, there's a moment later in the film where she's being chased by the alien, who does look like a middle-aged man with sunglasses and a fedora on, and she's holding the top of her dress so her contents don't spill out. I mean, you can't CG that, that's just pure acting. And again, Traci Lords has her knockers, but really she has had a solid career, and generally she's the best thing in these sort of films, and she has done quite a lot of these films. Again, Blade really should have led to better things, because she gives a wonderful performance. The opening title sequence is quite amusing because it doesn't have footage from Not of This Earth. It has footage from other Roger Corman films like Galaxy of Terror, Humanoids from the Deep, Mutant, and Battle Beyond the Stars. So that's all in the opening titles. So if you've never seen those films, you would think, oh, Not of This Earth is going to contain all these scenes, and of course it doesn't. But it's certainly a higher budget than perhaps Jim Wynorski would go on to do, as evidenced by the titles that I've read out. It's a wonderful little film that I probably wouldn't recommend. But from a historical point of view, if you want to see Traci Lords' first mainstream film at the age of 19, it's one of the greatest debut performances of all time. And yes, there's nudity in the film, and toplessness, but really, the two globes of the female actors in the film, the two mammalian protuberances, really do signify Earth and the other planet. And to really get a grip on the story, you have to grip those two globes of Earth and the other planet, and really squeeze them out to get the plot and get entertainment and enjoyment from this film. So thanks very much for watching. Please let me know if you've seen Not of This Earth, either version, and what you think of it, and hopefully join me again for more turkey love. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.